How y'all doing? Nick Brengle here, and this is the first episode of the Without Method random review show, whatever you want to call it. We're going to talk about all kinds of random items. Like, we could talk about, could be food, could be glasses. We might talk about movies. We might talk about reading. We might even talk about hair dryers. We might talk about cats. Okay, you get the point. Now, I understand that this channel historically has been about filmmaking and color grading and lighting and the Phantom LUTs and Dehancer and Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, minimalism, cats, my wife, all of those things under the sun. And we're going to keep those ideals intact on this amazing show, Without Method. And we'll talk a little bit about the gear and how we designed this professional studio where we're going to bring this amazing show. It's high quality content. So if you really are into random nonsense, then definitely hit the subscribe button. Drop a comment down below. Tell me how cringeworthy this possibly could be. And hit the like button. And go enjoy the first episode of Without Method, the random review YouTube series. I don't know. Honestly. Okay, so on the inaugural episode of the Without Method random review show, we are talking about vintage Marvel trading cards. And I'd ask, Nick, why the hell are we talking about cards on a channel like this? And I say because they're pretty cool, okay? My parents bought these over 30 years ago, and I inherited them many years later. And it wasn't until recently that I discovered they've hit sort of a mark of, that 30-year mark, and they're starting to become, maybe not even starting, they've been, I think, for a handful of years, kind of a big deal because of Disney and all the Marvel movies, and everything's just kind of blowing up. And so I finally, for some random reason, decided to kind of investigate and go into some of these communities and Reddit forums and Discords, subreddits, and just look into this trading card community. And there's some amazing people out there. You could really get sucked in, really good personalities, and they're, opening freshly sealed packages of cards, whether new or vintage, and they talk about everything to do with these cards. They're collectors, investors, and they love it. They're just big kids that are holding on to that nostalgia of being a kid and, opening packs of cards and just looking at cool art. And I guess if you love superheroes, then that's your thing too. So one thing that I discovered is that grading cards is a big deal and it's really important. So I sifted through over 300 of these cards, and I sent a few out to a company called CGC, and they're the industry leader in grading comic books, and they just recently started grading Marvel cards. They have already have been grading Magic the Gathering and Pokemon, but they just now started to do Marvel right as I'm looking into it. So I sent 3 cards off that to my eye looked amazing, but they look at it with like a magnifying glass. There's a lot of criteria that goes into the grading system. And so what you're seeing is 3 cards that got really great grades. 2 9s, they're mint, and then a 9.5 gem mint. And it's Thanos, and then Stan Lee, who of course is the creator of the Marvel Universe and many of the characters, and then a cosmic Spider-Man. Now that Spider-Man is very sought after because it's just a really awesome Spider-Man card, but it includes it's New York City is the backdrop, and you see the 2 towers, the Twin Towers behind him, and obviously it was in 1990, so it was well before September 11th occurred, and so there's some history in that card, and also everybody loves Spider-Man, So you're seeing some examples of raw, just regular cards. Most of those just have too many defects, whether they're too off-centered or have dings in the edges. I mean, if you're sending these out to be graded, they have to be immaculate cards. They have to be very well kept if they're going to be worth grading, because it does cost a little bit to get them graded. You're sending it off, you're having a professional look at it with all this special equipment, and they give it a grade, and then the big collectors and investors, they're looking at that. So yeah, it's kind of important. So you're seeing some of the raw cards that will never be graded, but we'll hang on to because eventually they're just going to get older and older, and worth something anyway. And then the ones in just the sleeves, those are all eventually going to be graded, and some of those are really cool. As you can see, there's the Black Spider-Man and Iron Man Thing. There's a bunch of interesting characters in there, so the artwork is really cool. And yeah, you just get kind of sucked in pretty quickly, remembering your childhood. And even for somebody like me who's not a big Marvel guy when it comes to the movies, but I love that old comic book artwork. So yeah, man, Marvel cards, I'm Nick Brengle, and this is Without Method, the random review show of whatever the we want to talk about. There's no method to this. So as you can see, talk about the production. So what I want to do is something different. I don't use backdrops ever. I'm using a white backdrop, and I hope we're still in focus here. Yeah, I'm using a white backdrop. And we have the lantern with the VL150 right here, double diffused. Got the microphone right in front of me. I got a little rim light here. It's a little pavo tube, and I got two mini pavo tubes here, blue, red, and blue. And and on the floor is the bigger pavo tube, and that's just white blasting up a little bit. So just kind of trying to create, there's not much depth here, as you can see. I mean, you can see the shadow. Behind there is the normal set, my desk and everything. So definitely a little bit different of a feel, but that's what I wanted to go for. I don't know, just having fun. Why not? So I don't know if there's anything else. Yeah, no. I hope you like this video. I don't know. It's fun. It's different. So hit the like button, drop a comment down below. And I don't know. I guess I could think about eventually if you have ideas for an item or something random that I could talk about a little bit. I don't know. I feel like I'm just, some of it will be kind of legitimate. Like talking about these Marvel cards, that's a legitimate thing. But it's still fun and random. And I get to show off, some shots of pieces of I don't know, history that maybe you don't get to see normally, and then do fun stuff with, Jolly Rancher gummies and whatever. Who knows? We're just making stuff. One of these lights is about to die. One of these batteries is going out, no doubt about it. I cannot eat all these. It's too much sugar.
Don't be